Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is ATHIRAH. Today we're going to present Data Communication and Networking Project. Here is my group members. NADZIRAH binti Muhammad ANUAR, AMIRAH binti AMRAN, and FATIN MAISARAH binti KAMAROLZAMAN. So this is the contents of our project presentation. First, we're going to share what is OCI layer model about. Second, we will show how does data travel on each layer of OCI model. And last but not least, we will share about our findings and experiences that we gained through this project. What is an OCI layer model? So the OCI model, Open System Interconnection Model, is a conceptual framework that used to describe 7 layers that computer systems use to communicate over a network. It was the first standard model for network communications adopted by all major computer and telecommunication companies in the early 1980s. The OCI was published in 1984 by the International Organization for Standardization, or known as ISO. The OCI model characterizes computing functions into a universal set of rules and requirements in order to support interoperability between different products and software. In the OCI reference model, the communications between a computing system are split into 7 different abstraction layers as shown pictures here. So for the first layer, we got physical data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. Though it does not always map directly to specific system, the OCI model is still used today as a means to describe network architecture. Next, I'm going to pass to NADZIRAH to continue this presentation.
Application layer, layer 7. For example of the situation, student is using online learning system to submit the assignment or task to their lecturers. The procedure will begin on the student's PC. The assignment, which can be called as raw data, will be passed to the application layer, layer 7, by the file application when the students upload the assignment file. The data format and file transfer protocol (FTP) will be defined on the application layer, and the data will be passed to the next layer, that is presentation layer. On layer 6, which is presentation layer, the data format will be standardized and the encryption process will be completed if it was necessary by referring to the communication connection type, whether it is encrypted or not. Next, the presentation layer will compress the data and pass it to the session layer. This compression process will help improve the speed and efficiency of the uploaded data. After that, on layer 5, which is session layer, the communication session will be initialized by sending requests and responses between the application layer and the transport layer. This process is to determine whether requested session is legitimate or not. If it is legitimate, the data will be passed to the next layer. Now I will pass to AMIRAH for the next slide.
Transport layer, layer 4. The data is passed to the layer 4, which is transport layer. The transport will provide multiplexing, enables the host to send and receive error-corrected data through the implementation of TCP and UDP protocols. The flow and error control will be performed, thus the data will be segmented, then broken up into packets at the network layer. Next is network layer, layer 3. On layer 3 of OSI model, network layer will facilitate the data transfer and ensure whether the network layer is necessary or not by checking the device communicating on the same network or not. Next, the network layer will route the packets to reach its destination using the best physical path, which called as routing process that happen at the router. Next is data link layer, layer 2. When the packets pass to layer 2, data link layer, it will be broken down into frames and delivered to the layer 1, which is physical layer. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, FATIN MAISARAH.
Thank you, Amira. So I will share how data travel through layer, which is physical layer, layer 1. The phrase will be converted to a bit stream of OS and 1 second and sent through a physical medium, which VLAN. Then the data will be stored in the online learning system server that located in the UTEM IT Center. Next, findings and experiences that we gathered through this project will be first get to know how the data travels from PCs to the ULAN systems around each layer of OSI model. Next, we also learn all the calculation and subnetting that involved in order to identify the IP address based on the scenario given. Last but not least, we are able to configure the IP address on the computer manually. That's all from us. Thank you.